Many of us say we don't have enough time, but we somehow have time for the things we don't want. My name's Kelly, and welcome back to Redefining Moments, the podcast that is designed to help you explore and change your perceptions of reality to make your life more fulfilling, happier, and curious. So today I want to talk to you about the concept of time. Something I think so many of us struggle with nowadays, and I think what leads to so much stress, burnout, and pressure on ourselves. But if we look at time as a concept, we will all have a set number of years of life that we're living and time we get to experience. Yet for some reason, we never have enough of it. But what if it is just the case of we're not using it wisely and we're wasting our time in bubbles of exhaustion, just scrolling on our phones because we're just trying to claim back time and energy for ourselves, but we're not actually using it in a way that fully allows us to rest and recover and feel better within ourselves. And don't get me wrong, some of us have much busier lives and way more expectations bestowed upon us. But once again, is that a choice? Have we chosen to have busier lives? Have we chosen to have lives that stop us from actually looking deeper into ourselves, in allowing us to experience joy? Or is it the expectations that our upbringing has brought into our lives? The idea that we constantly have to keep moving, constantly have to keep working, because if we don't do it, no one else will. But at the same time, you're no use to anyone if you're burnt out and exhausted. Time is a concept that I often consider, and it's a concept that also brings so much stress to my life. I find time for me is something I do make the most of. I try to date myself and spend time with myself and enjoy those small moments. But at the same time, my thoughts can take over and distract me and take me into this spiral of I'm wasting my time, but I'm not doing the things that are causing me to spiral, and the day just bleeds out in front of me and I'm exhausted, depleted, and nothing's been done. Nothing that I've wanted to have got done has been done, and it just leads to more stress and more worry, and then that bleeds into the following day. And I think the thing I've learned the most over the last few weeks is learning that time is my resource. Time is my responsibility, not anyone else's. When I often get stressed and overwhelmed, I want a reset button in life. I want to just press a big reset button and I want to start over. I want my time given back to me so I can use it more wisely. And it probably explains why I absolutely love the movie About Time. Because if you haven't seen it, it's about a man who can go back in time in his own life and revisit moments from his past and correct them. But it has a really beautiful ending where he states, and if you don't want me to ruin the story, I would suggest skipping forward at this bit. But he talks about actually not having to go back in time anymore and just reliving each day or living each day as if that was the last or only moment you had. And recently I'm reading a book about death, actually. I can't remember what it's called. It's called With the End in Mind. And something I've noticed in learning about death is that often it's gentle, it's calm, if pain is managed well, it's just drifting into sleep. The thing I think that scares so many of us is the idea of not having lived. Not having lived our life well. And that is a result of how we use our time. It's hard because this is something we don't tend to consider until we're in our final moments. And I think I've mentioned this many times in my podcast episodes. This is something I think about. But if we want to live a life that was well lived, full of joy, full of acceptance, full of love, then we need to find it within ourselves. We need to make time for the things that we want in our lives, for the joy, for the connections, for the passions, for the love, for the connection to ourselves and the inner knowing. We can't expect the answers to be given to us. We can't expect time to carve its way out for us. We have to make it ourselves. We have to consider, how is my day fueling me in the best way possible? Because if we're eating sugar in the morning, which I will admit I did today, I had a cookie for breakfast, I'm going to expect myself to crash by midday. And then because I haven't eaten well, it creates this vicious spiral. But that vicious spiral eats away at my time. It eats away at my joy and my love for life. And when I'm tired, I'm not engaging with the world in my best version of myself. It's this exhaustion. I'm trying to carry myself through the day. And then I feel like I've wasted the day. And the beautiful thing is, every day's a reset. Every day's an opportunity to take better steps towards ourselves, to look more deeply into ourselves and see what we could do better. But the irony is as well, I find the pressure we put on ourselves, the shame we carry, is also another thing that eats away at our precious time. That stops us from truly engaging in a beautiful life. Because I think about it, it wasn't until I actually did my chores today. I wanted to clean the house, clean my room, put my wash on, wanted to record this episode. There were so many things in my brain that were whirling around that I wanted to do, but I didn't at the time have the energy to do them. I felt fed up and exhausted, quite frankly, and I was like, I don't want to do it. And I kept making excuses saying, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. And then my stress levels were building. I was like, okay, I need to do these things, but I really don't want to do them. And I had this like resistance between what my body wanted me to do and what my mind wanted me to do. So I decided to just put it out on paper. I figured as long as I write it down, maybe the tasks won't seem as big of a deal. And I wrote them all down on paper, even the small things I've been thinking of, like making myself a hot chocolate. It was little things that I was like, okay, these are the things I want to do for myself, but also that I need to get done. And the minute I wrote it down, I was like, great, okay, I can do this now. And then when I was doing one task, I was like, okay, well, while I'm in here, I can do this one at the same time. And within half an hour, I was done. And actually, I did more things than I wanted to do. And I felt more energized, and I felt lighter, and I felt more present and engaged. Because often the disconnection to time is action. We're sometimes so busy in our mind, in our thoughts, in our head, that we're not presently engaged within our lives. We're not taking steps towards ourselves. We're not doing things for ourselves that make us feel good and engaged. Because actually, whenever I am in flow, whenever I am doing a task that allows me to fully immerse myself and be in the moment, time doesn't exist, and I do not feel like I have wasted my time. And in this moment, I would encourage you to look at your own life. Look at the moments where you feel like you have been really productive, you have been really resourceful, you have felt like you have made the most of your day. You feel positive and you look back at your day going, yeah, that was a really good day. I feel grateful. I feel excited. I feel motivated. I invite you to look back at those points in your life and consider, how did you use your time in the day? What actions did you take throughout the day that allowed you to tap into these skills, to tap into your joy? Because for me, the thing I've realised, and I'm not going to lie, I wish wasn't the case, is structure and routine designed to cater and support my joy is what is allowing me to find more happiness within my life. Doing my yoga in the morning, it means I have to have a tidy room. So as long as my room is tidy, my mat is out on the floor, I have no excuse to do my yoga in the morning. But the other day, I'd been doing some work on my desk, and I have a foldable desk. My desk was out. My yoga mat was blocked by my chair and other things. And I said to myself, I'll do my yoga later. But I never did. And the thing is, our lifestyle and our choices invite the habits, behaviors, and actions that lead to our joy, that lead to our positivity, that lead to better connections as well. Because if I start my day off right, if I do the activities, the actions, and take those steps towards myself the night before or in the morning, and I make sure my life sustains that, then I'm so much more positive. I'm so much more engaging. I have better relationships with my colleagues, with my family, with my friends. I don't feel like the world is a burden and a weight on me. Because that's the irony with time. When we feel like we don't have enough time, we don't put our time into things. We don't put our time into our connections. We don't put our time into the things that we enjoy and love in life. So we stop nurturing them, and therefore we stop nurturing ourselves. So this will be a short episode today because I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to stop you from utilizing your time in a beneficial and supportive way. So what can you do from this episode that invites more time into your life, that allows you to carve out time in your day for the things that mean something to you, that add value to your life? Because it's not about your job. It's not about your relationship. It's not about the external things in your life. It's about you and what you are doing towards it. How are you supporting it? How are you using your time to add value? See it as a precious resource, as important and as valuable as money, or whatever you see value in. Time really is everything, but the value of it depends on how you're using it. And the idea of it being enough, well, you are the person who's setting the limits and the bar on that. So if you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, and please add any comments on how it has influenced your idea on time. And I really hope it gives you an opportunity to look more deeply into how you can use your time more wisely. Until next time.